Hi, Voyagers. How's it going? I'm an early bird. It's very early now here, local time. You probably are able to guess what I'm doing now. Actually, I wasn't sure if I could do that because of the weather. But now I'm doing it for you because anyway, there's a chance. Good morning, Delia. I'm now sitting on the top of one of the peaks in Mount Huangshan. This is the most popular spot for sunset goers. I am surrounded by a lot of people now. Anyone else just to see black screen? Let me know, everyone, if the screen turns out well. Can you hear me well? Is everything all right? When is the sunset here? That's a very key question. The sunset is expected at 6:33. That is 22 minutes to go. I came here about 40 minutes ago. When I got here, there were just 3, 4 people here. So I have got a vantage point. I'm sitting on the verge of the peak, looking in the direction of the east, where the sun is expected to come out. Very dark, yes, because it's very early. Are you with your wife, Harry? I'm not with my wife. My children go to school. Somebody has to keep and watch. My wife encouraged me to come out to show more attractions across China for you, not just limited in small villages where I live. So that's good news. Yeah, for you, and maybe for me. For her, I'm not sure. All right, thank you for following. I'm waiting here for the sun to come out. Yeah, this is the sunrise tour at the top of the Huangshan mountain. The weather is not ideal for a sunset. It's not a sunny day. It's overcast. Right before the tour started, it started to rain actually, but very slight rain. It should be all right. All right. This is both a tough and easy tour for me. Tough because it's cold, it's windy, it's early. Easy because I don't have to go anywhere. I just sit here for this entire tour. Actually, I cannot go anywhere because there are people behind me. I can't go. I'm locked here. Good question. How high up? I am on top of the Bright Summit. This is one of the 3 main peaks in Mount Huangshan. The height here is about 1,700 meters. To be more exact, 1,740 meters above the sea level. Let's say 6,000 feet approximately. Let me turn to the right side to show you 2 other peaks in Mount Huangshan. Now you can see 2 other main peaks. The 2 you are looking at, together with the one I'm sitting on, are the 3 main peaks in Mount Huangshan. Now, in the view, the peak on the right is the tallest one, Lotus Peak. The name of that one is Lotus Peak. Why? Because it looks like a lotus. Look at the top of it. How many days will you be in the mountains? Delia, I stayed 2 nights in the mountain here. Last night was the first night. Yesterday I did 2 tours, and I think they turned out well. People liked them, of course, because this is Mount Huangshan, one of the most ingenious and beautiful mountains in entire China. Well, now the other peak, now on the left, this is Tiandu Peak in Chinese. It literally means celestial capital. It is believed to be the place where gods and goddesses gather. That's why it's called Celestial Capital Peak. All right? Let me show you the 2 peaks from this angle if you want to get a good picture. I'm well bundled up, so well that I cannot turn my head to look at the back. But I'm sure there are a lot of people. Maybe I can flip the camera for you to see the people behind me. See? Hello, everyone. Yeah, I came here about 45 minutes ago. Last night was a tough night. Yesterday, I said on my tour that I stayed in a shared room with 8 beds. The room is fully occupied. All the 8 men last night were in the room. So I mentioned 3 challenges. Well, the most challenging one problem is snoring, and it did become a big problem to me. So I managed to sleep for 2 hours, maybe after 2 o'clock to like 4 o'clock. I slept 2 hours. 2 hours. People, just were snoring at different times. Actually, those people who really snored really slept like a log. They were driving pigs to market. But anyway, I feel all right. So let's get back to the views. Sorry to hear that. Don't worry. This is my personal choice. And for me, it's friendly for my budget. This is one. The other is I like to see people. Yeah, I mean, I never actually did that. To share a room when I travel with the 7 other bedfellows. It never happened to me. First time. And the other 7 members are primarily young people. Let's say 5 young people in their 20s, I guess. And 1 old fellow who looks like in his early 60s. And you know what? That old fellow snored most. And there was another man. I don't think he snored that much. Maybe he didn't sleep that much. He is a little older than me as he looks. I know that kind of experience in small mountain huts or tents. I had a little sleep yesterday too. Wow, man. What happened? They must have come from all over. That's right. I think people here around me are from all over China. China is a big country. Again, the location I am in is the Bright Summit. As the name suggests, this is the better spot to enjoy the sunrise and the sunset. This is the place where the daylight is visible most of the time in this mountain area. Have you heard of Mount Huangshan? It's a World Geology Park, a UNESCO heritage site for both culture and nature. It was listed as the UNESCO heritage site in the year 1990. Yesterday, I showed some pretty stunning views of the mountain, and let's see if we can see the sunrise. If not, I'm still happy because it's still a very special experience for us to see how the mountains just loom gradually in early morning. This is a Chinese painting in reality. We're looking at the archetype of Chinese landscape paintings. Unscroll. Do you see now in the middle of the view, down there in the valleys, some clouds? Can you see? Maybe I can zoom in for you to see better. This is one of the unique phenomena in Mount Huangshan, the Sea of Clouds. You know what? Do you hear the dropping of sleet? There's sleet coming down. That happened to me yesterday, like about 10:45, right before my first tour finished yesterday. There was a sleet followed by rain that lasted for a couple of hours. Joe, hi, see the clouds. Great. Yes, I do. I remember. Yeah, okay. Left the tip. So now here's the sleet. According to weather forecast, no rain. It's just overcast. But don't worry. I have an umbrella with me. In case the rain gets heavier, I will use my umbrella to help. Harry, I think you missed my question. Does this get a crowd every day, or is it a special day? Neil, I'm in a location to enjoy the sunrise. I would say that in this mountain, which is a scenic area, this is always busy every morning, unless there's a pouring rain, or there's a rain, let's say, when people do not expect to see any sunrise, or it's just so inconvenient for them to stay here in the rain. Otherwise, I think it's always busy. And now in early spring, at least for today, the sunrise time is 6:33. This is expected time, 6:33. So we have just some minutes to go. So be just patient. I don't know. I still think the chance for a good sunrise today is slim because it's overcast and it's rain. But I don't think I regret, and you will not either. For the sake of the mere spectacles in Mount Huangshan. Again, guys, let me show you these two peaks again with better visibility. The two peaks, the one on the right is Lotus Peak, the highest peak in Mount Huangshan. And the one on the left is the third highest, or maybe the second highest. It's called Celestial Capital Peak. I'm now sitting on the verge of Bright Summit Peak, which is one of the three main peaks. They are all here This is a pine tree, one of the signatures in Mount Huangshan. Tenacious Chinese Huangshan pine tree. What's peak you are on? Called again. Tina, the peak I am on now is called Guangmingding in Chinese. And Guangming means brightness if it is a noun. If it is an adjective, it is just Guangming. Anyway, because in Chinese, I said that grammatically, Chinese is very easygoing. You can use the same term or phrase to be used as both. For example, a noun or an adjective, or sometimes even a verb. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And there's no inflectional change in Chinese linguistic grammar. In that sense, Chinese is actually pretty easy to learn. So don't get discouraged in learning Chinese. But I do think writing and recognizing Chinese characters is a hard thing. But grammar is so easy. Oh, fog, mist is forming thicker and thicker. That is not good for a sunrise, but thank you very much for the guys who supported me just now. Thank you so much. The other two peaks are accessible too. Suzanne, very great question. Actually, the highest peak, the lowest peak, now is closed. This is a UNESCO heritage site. Some of the mountains are closed for rehabilitation. Yeah, and they told me that these two peaks over there, there's one that is open at the same time. So they take their shifts to be open to tourists. Wow. More mist. More mist. I see them from zooming out the map. Celestial capital is somewhat further away from Paris Summit. Yeah. Yeah. Celestial capital, what a romantic name, full of a Chinese flavor.
这个雾霾了，越来越过来，那电脑现在已经那个，快吧，那风
Thank you, Rosemary.
快吧，都朝那个方向走了。哎，等一下，我们走不了了，快走，走回家喽，没希望喽。
Chinese names are full of graceful terms.
到我们这里来了，杜娜，到我们这里。
Yeah.
对，我要盯上那块的，不要那个。嘿，你们唱好了，太阳出来喽，嘿。
A lady together with her family just now left the spot because seeing all that mist forming, she got disappointed and not expecting to see a good sunrise in the rain, though it is light. So they left, but immediately some other members filled the gap. Of course, it's not time yet to to give up. Are they speaking Chinese? No, for sure. They are all speaking Chinese, different dialects. Helen asked about the welcoming pine tree. Okay, let me go back to see the question. Thank you, Joe, for reminding me. Helen. How far from the welcoming pine tree? Very good question, Helen. Yeah, Yin Ke Song you are talking about in Chinese. Yin Ke Song is also translated into English as, welcoming pine tree or guest welcoming or guest receiving pine tree. And that is the pine tree that is located from my spot. Maybe you need to walk. You actually need to walk for about 2 hours. You need to hike for 2 hours. At least 1.5 hours if you are fast. So it's not close. Actually, I haven't seen that tree for this trip, but I will do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a sunny day, according to the weather forecast. You know what? This is not looking good. It's getting more misty. Thank you, Joe. Let me scroll back down. Rather amazing to watch the mist come into. I can see why what's a lady give up. Why lady give, right? Whew. Let me show you more of the mountains. The next tour is midday. That's right now. The next tour is 10 o'clock for today. I think the weather forecast shows maybe cloudy this afternoon. That means this afternoon sounds like a better idea than this morning. But who knows? It's the force of nature. Maybe some kind of tricks are being played on us by nature. Never know. Oh, who plays the music, Delia? I think it's a megaphone mounted at a fixed spot. Yeah, yesterday I did see some megaphones on the way. And actually, behind me, there's a meteorological observatory. Let me show you the meteorological observatory. It's also a hotel. There are guest rooms under it. You know what? That hotel is the most expensive, at least one of the most expensive in Mount Huangshan. See? The building behind those people standing on the rocks. And you can see actually a globe on top of the building. That is the thing used for meteorological observation. It's blocked by people that can. Can you see? Yeah. You know what? Yesterday I said to get a hotel room here, you have to pay 900 yuan up in this area for a proper, just a regular room. My room, that is shared beds with 7 other bedfellows, is pretty cheap, 200 yuan. But to get a regular room for just for yourself or your family, you need to pay 900 and up, and sometimes to 2,000 yuan. But in that meteorological observation hotel, the room there per night is a 3,000 yuan. 3,000 yuan is equivalent to maybe 400 US dollars. 400 US dollars per night. And I heard that the rooms over there have the views right outside the window for people to see the sunrise and sunset. That's why it's expensive. Where are your roommates coming here? They are from Henan province, and actually, you know what? We didn't talk much. I stayed outside in the mountain area until 9 o'clock yesterday evening. And then I went back to the room for a rest. And actually, all the bedfellows were kind of on the cell phone. No one slept at 9 o'clock. So it continued like this until maybe 10:36 when I proposed everybody to maybe turn off the main light in the room for rest. And originally, I didn't get any response. But anyway, I gave out my signal at least. And then after 5 minutes, I proposed again with more firm tone, saying maybe it's really time for us to rest, to turn off the lights. And the guys who still want to be on their phone can just go ahead. Doesn't matter. So then they all agreed. Finally, the light was off close to 11 o'clock, but I didn't get to any sleep because of the snoring. I think people start to fall into sleep maybe after 12 o'clock. And I found to sleep after 2 o'clock. How far are we from Shanghai? You can drive from Shanghai to Mount Huangshan in, I would say, 6 hours. Sometimes people say 5 hours, but probably 6 hours. And the admission to this scenic mountain is 190 yuan in the high season. We're actually in high season, 190 yuan. 190 yuan is about maybe some 30 US dollars per person. And in the low season, like in November and December and January, it's 150, 40 yuan less. That's it. That's the difference. And then people have to take the cable car up. But of course, you don't have to. But most of the people, I guess, they take the cable car. If you don't take the cable car, all you need to do is just after you buy the ticket, take a shuttle bus arranged by the local company. That is something you have to take because there's still a long way to walk from the bottom of the mountain to where a sightseeing tour can start, and it's all the way up. So yesterday when I came up in the morning in that bus, it actually took me more than 20 minutes and all the way up. So you can imagine that was not a good experience for you to do before any sightseeing could start for this mountain. And the cost is 19 yuan. That is almost nothing, 19 yuan for that bus service. And if you want to take the cable car, the cost is 90 yuan per person, which is like maybe 16 or 15 US dollars. Yeah. And when you are in the mountain, everything here is quite expensive, as you can imagine. It's something like maybe triple the price you get in a common supermarket if it is not in the scenic mountain. So everything here is about 3 times as expensive. including food and grocery items. All right, now let me show you the two peaks again. The Lotus Peak. The Lotus Peak on the right and the Celestial Capital Peak on the left.
这边好美的，我晕。看那边山峰吗？
Joe, you said you've been to Huangshan Mountain in China. So friends, don't be confused with the names of these two mountains. I mean Huangshan Mountain. Well, Joe has been to Huangshan Mountain. These two mountains are in different locations, and they are actually quite far apart. But both mountains are great mountains in China. Both are great mountains. Huangshan Mountain is in Shanxi province, in northwestern China. Well, I'm in Huangshan Mountain, that is in southeastern China, in Anhui province. Okay, obviously, we can't see the sunrise. Sun rises at 6:33. We can't see it today. Let's hope for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will film another tour for the sunrise because since I am here, there's no reason for me not to be an early bird to do this tour and get this kind of experience. So tomorrow, in the same time, I will be here again. I think there's a much better chance tomorrow. And tomorrow, after the sunrise tour, I will do another tour to show you the welcoming pine tree. And I will tell you some information about the welcoming pine tree. There will be a lot of people over there because welcoming pine tree is actually the signature of Mount Huangshan. You know what? Yeah. In the people's, the Great Hall of People in Beijing, you know, part of the Chinese main government area, there is a precious metal painting. It's a painting made of metal by a renowned artisan, and the subject of that metal painting is a welcoming pine tree. The interpretation is that it shows the hospitality of Chinese people. The sun is quick to get above the distant hills after official sunrise time. Climbing these slopes looks challenging, beautiful here too. Oh yes, beautiful. I'm still getting atmospheric postcards. In China, Mount Huangshan is also called Yellow Sea. Huangshan is actually two Chinese characters. Huang means yellow, and Shan means mountain. It also makes sense for you to call this mountain Huang Mountain, because the Shan is just a mountain in Chinese, but it's commonly called Huangshan Mountain. Now you at least have learned two Chinese characters. Again, Huang is yellow, and Shan is mountain. Sometimes people are curious about the name of that mountain. I would like to repeat it again. It is actually related to the Yellow Emperor, one of the Chinese Chinese cultural founders. In China, it is believed to have two like forefathers in our civilization, and the Yellow Emperor is one of them. The other one is Yan Emperor. According to the legends, they were leaders of two different tribes, and they were in fight for the supreme power. Of course, the result was that finally the Yellow Emperor defeated the Yan Emperor. But both emperors in prehistorical China were great. The Yellow Emperor is the cultural founder of Chinese civilization, while the other emperor who got defeated is actually the agricultural founder of Chinese civilization. For instance, anything that is related to culture, for instance, the Chinese Taoism, you can relate it to the Yellow Emperor. Well, things like Chinese traditional medicine, you should associate with the other emperor who got defeated. Though there was a fight between the two tribes, but people got mixed, which laid the foundation to the race of Chinese people in all the later days. This is what legend says. So later in a feudal time of China, when China was a unified dynasty, there was an emperor who was a Taoist adherent. And he heard that the Yellow Emperor once visited this mountain, the Yellow Mountain, and ascended to the sky to be an immortal from here. So that emperor was so moved by this story, and probably he wanted to rub off the same luck on the Yellow Emperor. He renamed this mountain from Yi Mountain to the present day name, that is the Yellow Mountain. And this is how the Yellow Mountain, got its present day name, from Yi Mountain to now the Yellow Mountain, for people to remember the cultural founder of Chinese civilization, the Yellow Emperor. Xia Dynasty, yeah, it's actually spelled in Chinese pinyin Xia, Xia Dynasty. Not really ZIA, but it makes sense. In English phonetic tradition, it makes sense. I think when you pronounce it, it's more like a ZIA, Xia. But in Chinese pinyin, it's spelled as XIA. It's the first prehistorical dynasty of China. But you know what? Actually, the Yellow Emperor and the Yan Emperor, they lived even before Xia Dynasty. They lived in times immemorial. Before that, even. Yeah. Okay, you know what? This tour is scheduled for 45 minutes. I think we have seen enough here. I don't think there's a chance for the clouds to clear themselves soon. in any kind of magic. So let me turn around and leave this spot to show you just a little bit more of the rest on this summit, the Bright Summit. Let me take my bag. Here's my bag. You can see it did sleet just now. It's actually still going on. This is the result of sleet. Okay. Thank you very much for your support. And thank you for coming to my tour to enjoy the Mount Huangshan. It's cold. Some radar on top. That's right. That's right. It's a radar on top. It's a Doppler radar. Yeah, actually, also the cable cars and the cables in Mount Huangshan scenic area are also imported. And now there are 3 cable lines in the scenic area. I know for sure one was actually imported from Austria in Europe, and the other 2 are also imported from other countries, but I'm not sure which country exactly they are. But one I can tell from Austria. Here is the floor I'm walking on. Huangshan Mountain boasts this kind of a granite stone. And I told you that the highest peaks here are 1,700 up. When you are above 1,000 meters, you see a lot of pine trees. And those pine trees are usually, the higher they grow, the smaller they become. So sometimes, for example, the welcoming pine tree has been over 800 years old. But I also saw people, and even on TV, some people just say it is over 1,000 years old. But in the same time, I see record that says it's 800 years old. Which one is more trustworthy? I tend to be on the side of 800 years old because 1,000 years sounds like maybe like a roundup for 800 years. And Chinese people, they appreciate and they admire ancestry, antiquity. They tend to maybe make the round up the numbers a little bit to match the sense of antiquity that is deeply rooted in their mind. This is the other side. To make up for the loss, let's have a look at the sunrise through this introduction here. Hopefully tomorrow we can see this. All right. Sunrise is the appearance of sun when it initially rises from the horizon. The solar corona is atmospherically refracted upon the skyline. The best viewing sites are Yuping Hotel, Qingliang Terrace, White Goose Peak, Paiyun Pavilion, and the Bright Summit. Shuguang Pavilion, Lion Peak, Aoyu Peak, and Danxia Peak are also the good choices. Yesterday, for the afternoon tour, I ended at this peak, Aoyu Peak, the Aoyu Peak. Okay. Ooh, it's really cold, and my right hand that is holding the gimbal is shaking. Guys, thank you so much for being with me. And you know what? I will be having some more tours if you are interested later. Who knows? But I will walk around and try to show you different attractions in this scenic area. Like in yesterday afternoon, I didn't expect to show you anything like it actually turned out to be. It was unexpected beauty we got to see in the afternoon after the rain. So who knows? Okay, guys, thank you so much. See you next time. Bye for now. Bye for now. Take care. Cheers.